You want to call?
Want me to call him?
Yeah. See, we're holding.
He's going to not have any clue why I'm... Well, maybe he will know why I'm calling him.
Hello, morning.
Morning.
How are you, Yaakov Shmuel?
How are you?
All right, wonderful. I guess you know why I guess you know why I'm calling you.
Yes, you must be at Daf Yomi.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Okay, good morning. We're holding Yud Gimel Amud Beis, 13b. We're towards the bottom. I just have to say over what we learned in the Mishnah, what we learned in the first Mishnah of the Perek, which was 2 days ago. We had a statement that if someone does Kmitza on the Karban Mincha, and his intention is that he's going to eat the remnants the following day, or he's going to offer up the kaimitz the following day. That means he's going to burn what he's just scooped out the following day. Rabbi Yossi would agree that it's pigel, and it's chayiv kares. Where is the machlekes Rabbi Yossi and the Rabban? That would be if someone does kmitza, and his intention is to burn the frankincense, which, by the way, is in this bag.
Oh.
We have to open it up and spill some out. The intention to burn the frankincense the following day. So then Rabbi Yossi says it's puzzle, but there's no kares. And the sages say there is kares. And Rabbi Yossi said that when they asked him, why is this different than sacrifice, where there would be kares if you're going to eat the flesh, or if you're going to bring up the organs the following day while you're sprinkling the blood or while you're slaughtering it. So he said, well, the frankincense is not part of the sacrifice. Then we had the Mishnah yesterday. Someone slaughters the 2 sheep of Shavuos, and he has intention to eat the chalas, to eat one of the chalas the following day, or he offers up the two spoons of frankincense, and with his intention is to eat one of the stacks of the showbread the following day. Rabbi Yossi says only that one side becomes one challah, or one side becomes pigel, and the other side doesn't. The sages say that they both become pigel. Rav Huna, yesterday we learned Rav Huna. Rav Huna explains, why does one side become pigel, not the other side? So Rav Huna explained, because Rav Yossi holds that if you think about eating the right thigh or the right leg the following day, only the right thigh or right leg becomes pigel, not the left one. And he said either it's logical, we learn it from Tumah, or there's a pasuk. We're starting 3 lines from the bottom, 4 lines from the bottom. Esvei Rav Nachman Rav Huna. Rav Nachman has a question to Rav Huna. Rav Huna is explaining the opinion of Rabbi Yossi that only part of the bread becomes pigel, only one row or only one loaf. He explained it because you separate everything up. Even the legs of the animal are divided up. If you think the wrong thoughts with one leg, the other leg doesn't become pigel. He asked the question, quoting a brisa. It says, "Liolam ein beikaris that sheyifagel b'shteyim." B'kazayis. They don't become pigel until you have intention that you're going to eat of the 2 loaves at kazayas. Talking about the 2 loaves of Shavuos. B'shteyim in. That means that you have to have thoughts of the 2 loaves. Ba'achas mehan lai. But if you only have thoughts of one of them, then not. Now, who does this sound like? Which opinion would this be? It sounds similar to Rabbi Yossi. The Gemara says, Mani, who could this be? Who could this be according to? Eily Rabbanan. If we say this is the opinion of the Rabbanan, afilu ba'achas mem nami. Even if you have thoughts of one of them, the other one is pigel anyway. So what does it mean you need a kazayis of both? And not one isn't good. Ela pshita Rabbi Yossi. It must be that it's Rabbi Yossi. Now, I amrit b'shleim echad gufahu mishum hachim mitzdaref. Okay, the way the Gemara words this is interesting. If we would say regarding the thighs of an animal, that the thighs are one, that because it comes from one animal, and so, which means that if I would have thoughts of eating the right thigh after the time, the left thigh would become pigel, so that I could possibly say that a half a zayas of this loaf should combine with a half a zayas of this loaf to become one full kazayas of pigel. But if by an animal I say that the right thigh is not the left thigh, and it doesn't become pigel at all, so mi mitzdarfi, would I say that if I have a half a zayas of one loaf should combine with the other half a zayas of another loaf? We're not exactly talking about the same thing. We're talking about one leg becoming pigel, the other leg doesn't become pigel. We're saying, well, if you don't do that, then if you have a half a zayas of one loaf, would that combine with the half a zayas of another loaf to make it one kazayas to make a full kazayas of pigel? It would have been easier if it would have said a half a zayas of the right leg doesn't combine with a half a zayas of the left leg doesn't become. That would have been an easier way of understanding
the brisa. If the brisa was more
no,
clear?
Well, the problem is that we have a brisa that says that you need a kazayas of both loaves to be pigel. We said, well, that can't be the Rabbanan because a kazayas of one loaf would be pigel.
Right.
Can't be Rabbi Yossi because Rabbi Yossi holds the right and left leg don't combine. Two loaves for sure don't combine.
Right.
Well, Rabbi Yossi didn't really say that the right and left leg don't combine. What Rabbi Yossi said was that pigel on the right leg doesn't make pigel on the left leg. Now, we're stretching that they don't combine. So if they don't combine, then how are the loaves going to combine? So what's really Rav Nachman's question is that, according to you, Rav Huna, I have a statement from a Mishnah that definitely doesn't fit with the Rabbanan. And it also apparently doesn't fit with Rabbi Yossi. And since I don't know who the author is, Rav Huna, you must be wrong, and it must be a different explanation in Rabbi Yossi. What's the way of resolving this? The Gemara says, Hamani Rabbi. Well, we can find another opinion that this brisa will fit with, and if that's the case, then we don't have to reinterpret the way Rav Huna interpreted Rabbi Yossi. Tanya. Now, as we go through this, I just need to point out that we've been rather vague about pigel, how pigel works. You see, there's the service that the person's doing, the kmitza. Then there's the thoughts that he's thinking about, the eating, or offering up the kmitza, or the levina. So those are two separate things. There's the kmitza itself is a mater. It allows for the mincha to be eaten. Actually, is the kmitza the mater or the haktara? The kmitza itself is a full mater. Then the haktara, the burning of it, is also a mater, and the levina is a mater. The kmitza, I guess, the kmitza sanctifies the mincha. Then the burning of it allows it to be eaten. By an animal, by shechting it, when you shech the animal, you're mater the dam. That shechita allows the blood to be sprinkled. Then the sprinkling of the blood allows the animal to be eaten. So there's different steps here, but each one has like a little accomplishment. That's called a mater. Now the problem is that there's all these different opinions about chatzi mater. Does one mater affect another mater? Can you think about the other mater, or if there's two matirim, can thoughts in one affect? So that's going to be a discussion here. Okay, so we say that this brisa, this brisa or Mishnah that was quoted before
Brisa,
by Reb
no?
Nachman.
Like the one on the
It
bottom.
says Lo'elam ein b'karas ad sheyipaglu b'shteihem. Is that a brisa? Let's see what he says. Yeah, it's a brisa. So says this commentary here. Shaninu b'brisa. The brisa says that there'll only be karas if you have thoughts of eating a kazayas of both loaves. Now, who it would only be karas, only pigel. Hamani Rebbe, the Tanya. It's taught in a brisa. Hashoichet as a keves. So when Shech Salim lechol chatzi zayas michalazu, and his intention is to eat a half a zayas of one chala, v'chein chaveirei, and he does the same with his friend. That means with the other lamb, because there's two lambs on Shavuos, and there's two chalas. Lechol chatzi zayas michalazu, and his intention with the other one is to eat a half a zayas of the other loaf. Now, will these two loaves combine? Rabbi Yomer Nisha Zeh Kosher. Rabbi says that it doesn't combine. When he says Lechol Chatzi Zayas Mechalazu, he means the following day, in the wrong time. Rabbi says that it doesn't combine. Now, Taima, what's the reason why it doesn't combine? Damar Chatzi Chatzi. Because he said, on each one, half. In other words, he only had, by each lamb, he only thought of half. Aval Amar Kazayas Mishteyim. But if when he shechted both lambs, he would have said that I'm going to eat a kazayas of both of them, the loaves would combine. That's the brisa. That the loaves combine, a half a zayas of each loaf combines. So I don't need to say that that's the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. I have an opinion of Rabbi that would hold that. Now why does Rabbi say in this case not? He says because each time you shechted, you only thought of half. But if when you shechted, you would have thought of a whole kazayas, yes, from two independent loaves, but they would have combined. That's what our understanding is. Now the Gemara asks for Rebbe Ali B'Daman, but who does Rebbe go like? And when the Gemara asks this, the Gemara is now asking that we had a machlokes between the Rabbanan and Rabbi Yossi. If one loaf becomes pigel, does the other loaf become pigel? If one row of the showbreads, one stack of the showbreads become pigel, does the other stack become pigel? Rabbi Yossi said no, and the Rabbanan said yes. Now, we don't know. Right now, we're just saying that one loaf, or maybe a kazayas of a loaf, or one loaf is becoming pigel. What about the other loaf? What is Rebbe's opinion? Because we have a third an opinion here. But what does he hold about the two stacks of, or the two loaves? If Rebbe holds like the Rabbanan, then afilu ba'achas me'am nami. Then why does Rebbe have to say that he had a thoughts of a half a zayas from this one and a half a zayas from that one? And it has to be a combination of both of them that will make pigel. Because we had it.
Whenever you do anything wrong, you have to have intention.
Right.
So if you didn't plan to eat it, just something happened by mistake, then it would never be. So that's what
Right.
I said.
No, but we had when we quoted this brisa originally, we had a diak in the brisa. It says, forever, or really, there's no pigel until you have thoughts of pigel by both of them with the kazayas. Right. And we had a diak. We implied by both of them, it would be pigel. But if you only had thoughts of one of them, by one of them with the kazayas, it won't be pigel, assumingly, in the other one. Mm-hmm. So that means we're trying to, how are we getting both of them into pigel? Because you're having thoughts of a kazayas combined of both of them. But if Rebbe holds like now we're saying that this is the opinion of Rebbe. If Rebbe holds like the Rabbanan, then why do you need to combine both of them to kazayas to make pigel? You could have gotten pigel from both of them, like having just thoughts of a kazayas of one of them would have made the whole thing pigel. Because the Rabbanan hold that that if you think that you're going to eat one loaf after the allotted time, it makes both loaves pigel. So why do we need to say that there's a kazayas combined of the two loaves? Okay, so Rebbe must not hold like the Rabbanan. If Rebbe holds like Rabbi Yossi, that Rabbi Yossi held that only one of them should become pigel, so hadron kosher leduchte. Now the question returns, and the question is Rav Nachman's original question: that if Rebbe does not combine two legs, of one animal, he says that if one of them becomes pigel, the other one is still kosher. So how does Rebbe combine a half a zayas of this loaf to half a zayas of this loaf? They're totally independent. So the Gemara says, Lo'ilam ali b'derabanan. Really, we're going to say that brisa that we quoted before, that you need a kazayas of both of them, is according to the rabbis. This is going to be a problem, because what was our problem? Why couldn't we say that?
It's Rabbi Yosi.
Well, it can't be the Rabbanan. Originally we said, because why do we say that you need a kazayas of both of them? According to the Rabbanan, one of them would have made both of them pigel. Right. If you had thoughts of just one of them. Right. So follow this. This is incredible. Don't read it until you made pigel by both of them. Rather, read it until you made pigel by both of them. Now, in English it doesn't matter, but in Hebrew It's a big difference. Because b'shteyem is referring to the chala. It's nekeva. Ad sheyifagel b'shneyem is referring to the sheep. The sheep is lashon zachar.
Wow.
Chalois versus kvasim. So, what does it mean over here? It doesn't mean that you have to have thoughts of a kazayas of both of them, referring to the loaves. You can't make pigel by only one sheep, because these two sheep together are mater the chala. So you have to have thoughts by the whole mater. Each sheep itself is just half a mater.
Okay.
So we're not talking about a kazayas of the loaves. We're not talking about if one loaf becomes pigel, will the other loaf become pigel. We're talking about what service do you need to have the pigel thoughts during in order for the loaves to become pigel. We're not talking about how much of the loaves. We're talking about what services, and that we're talking about the two sheep. Not in other words, now the word two is referring to the sheep, and supposed to. And we're talking about the service, not the thought that you're going to eat it at. Achiyifagel b'shnei means until you have thoughts during those services, during those activities. And va'afilu b'achas me'em. And really, if you would have thoughts by both sheep, that you're going to eat one loaf after the time both loaves would have been, because it's the rabbi's opinion. The rabbis hold that they come together. The lechem apanim come together. The two loaves of shavuos come together. If they're one's pigel, the other one's pigel. Lafukim mid Rab Meir. And now we're coming to exclude Rab Meir, the Amar mefaglim b'chatzi amater. Rab Meir would have said that mefaglim b'chatzi amater. He holds that if you shecht one sheep to eat both loaves the following day, Rab Meir says it's pigel. And the rabbi said no. Each sheep is a half a mater. You need to have the thoughts by the entire matter. Rashi goes through some interesting things here, because he puts it all together. When you do kmitza, you still didn't burn the levina. So why, when you do kmitza and you have thoughts of eating the leftovers the following day, according to the rabbis, it shouldn't be enough. It's only chatzi amati. You didn't burn. She says no. Well, the kmitza is the full avoda. However, and this is where it gets really interesting, burning the kmitza is only half a mater with burning the levina. That we're going to see.
Hard.
Because if you have pigel thoughts, when you're burning the kaimetz, but not by the levina, the chacham are going to say, "Ein pigel at sheyifagel b'chol hamater." At the beginning of the perek, we said, "Kaimetz al manas lahakta kaimetz lemacher meider Rabbi Yosi." Someone does kmitza with intention of burning the kaimetz. Rabbi Yosi agrees. It sounds like everyone agrees, and even though burning the kaimetz is only half. He says that's not how it works. What were you doing then? You were doing kmitza. You had thoughts of burning. the kaimetz. That everyone agrees. The kmitza is a full service. What you have thoughts of doesn't need to be a full thing, doesn't need to be the full service. Burning the kmitza itself was, the kmitza itself is the service. I had thoughts of burning the kmitza at the wrong time. That makes pigel. That's this nice Rashi here. Okay. Kamash Malan Delay. It's coming to teach us that we don't go like Reb Meir, that mefagim mechatzi amater. You need to have thoughts by both sheep. If so, my liyolam. You don't have such a big chiddush here that you should say the word liyolam. Liyolam teaches, it says, really, I'm going to tell you a big chiddush. So all you're saying is that you need both sheep. You're not saying a big chiddush. If you would have told me that you need to do both sheep with the same thought, and you need to have thoughts of both loaves of bread, and we're talking about the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, Ulafu came with Rabbi Meir, and you're coming to exclude the opinion of Rabbi Meir, who said you only need to have thoughts during one sheep. Rabbanan, and you're coming to exclude from the Rabbanan that say that thoughts about one loaf would have been enough. So Kasi, that's what you're coming to say. Hainu dekamar liyolam. That's why you said the word liyolam. You're telling me something significant. Eliyam et Rabbanan ulafu came with Rabbi Meir. But if you're telling me the opinion of Rabbanan and you're just coming to exclude this one opinion of Reb Meir, my liyolam. What do you mean liyolam? Really? You're not telling me such a big chiddush. It's the rabbi's opinion, and you're excluding Reb Meir. V'oid. Now the questions get more intense. Amar Rav Ashi Tashma. Rav Ashi says, "Come and see this. Come and hear this brisa."
Tashma is always a brisa.
I don't know if it's a brisa or a mishnah, but it could be either. But in this case, I think it's a mishnah. It's a mishnah in Zvachim. Rabbi Yomer Mishum Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi says in the name of Rabbi Yossi. Whenever it says Mishum, it means in the name of. But it also tells us that he didn't actually hear it directly. That's what we know. It's in the name of. If it would say Rabbi Amar, Rabbi Yossi Amar, Rabbi Yomer, Rabbi Yossi Yomer, then it would be that he heard it directly. That's how we know teacher-student. The way we know who's learned from who is by the way they quote each other. But if it's Mishum, then that doesn't tell me that it's a student.
So that's a general guideline historically if you're looking through the Gemara.
Yeah, and actually Mishum probably means that he's not a student, because then why didn't he hear it directly?
Interesting.
It means there's a generation off. Yeah, generation gap. Pikul b'davar nasa b'chutz. Pikul b'davar nasa b'fnim loy pikul. If the pikul was done by something that was done outside to something that's done inside, let me do it again. Let me read this again. Pigel b'davar nasa b'chutz. Pigel. Pigel that was done for something outside, then it's pigel. In other words, if you're doing one of the outside services and you have thoughts of something that's done outside, then that's pigel. However, b'davar nasa b'fnim. But if you're doing one of the outside services and you have thoughts of something that's inside, that's like pigel. And the Gemara says ketzad. How does this work? Hayayimid b'chutz. Let's say standing in the courtyard. We say chutz. It means outside the sanctuary. But Amar Hareini Sheichet, he says, behold, see, this is a proof to Rashi that the thoughts have to be expressed. There's thoughts. There's proofs back and forth. The problem is there's proofs the other way. It says chishev, or whatever. He says, behold, I'm going to slaughter al menas lahazis midamay lamachar, with intention or in condition that I'm going to sprinkle the blood of this sacrifice the following day.
He says this, or he's thinking this?
It says Ayman.
So beyond pigel.
Well, no. Pigel, there's a machlekes how a pigel works, if it needs to be thought or it needs to be expressed. It's machlekes Rishonim. What the Gemara means when it says Amar or Chishev, does Chishev mean? Or Bishtika we had recently.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
Okay, now we're talking about the cows, the bulls rather, that are the blood is meant to be sprinkled inside the sanctuary. These are special sacrifices. Parim Manisraf and Masir Manisraf and Parkai and Mashiach, or the ones of Yom Kippur. These are special sacrifices that the blood is brought in the sanctuary. Most sacrifices are not done like this. However, this person, he's outside slaughtering, and he's thinking about the blood that's going to be sprinkled inside the sanctuary, and he thinks about it for the following day is going to be performed. It's loy pigel, it's not pigel. Because it's thoughts taking place outside regarding something that's done inside the sanctuary. Let's say he's inside the sanctuary. He's sprinkling the blood, which that's what he's supposed to be doing, but he has thoughts of offering up the organs or the limbs of the animal on the altar, which is outside the sanctuary, in the other area. The following day, that's what he's thinking of doing. He's doing it in the wrong time. And he's going to pour out the remnants. The following day, you see, by these sacrifices, the remnants is ma'akiv. So if you have thoughts of the remnants, it could be that would have been pigel. The problem is that he's inside the sanctuary thinking about doing this outside. It says lay pigel. Because he's thinking inside regarding something about that's outside. Let's say he's outside. He says, I'm shechting this in order to pour out the remnants of the blood, which is done outside the sanctuary, exactly where he's standing. Not exactly, he's on the north, and this is, but it's outside in the courtyard. And to offer up the organs the following day. This is pigel. Okay, when he thought about pouring out the remnants of the blood, the Gemara asks, and it became pigel because he was slaughtering the animal, and he thinks about pouring out the remnants of the blood the following day. Lishpech shirayim lifegulei mai. What part of that sacrifice was he expecting to become pigel? That if someone eats it, he's going to incur the kares punishment. Ilema lifegulei dam, because he's thinking about the blood. So what part of the animal would become pigel? The blood. Remember, this is Rabbi Yosi. Dami mefagel? Does the blood itself become pigel? We have a Mishnah. Elu dvarim shein chayav misham pigel. With the following are not chayav because of pigel. Pigel, misham pigel. Hakaimetz. The kaimetz itself, which is meant to be burnt on the altar, if someone thinks about that and thinks about while he's doing the kmitza, about the whole mincha, the wrong thought, he's going to do one of the services out of the time. So the kaimetz itself, which is the matir, doesn't become pigel. The halavayna is also a matir, it doesn't become pigel. The ketairis, it's not matir anything else. It doesn't become pigel. Minchas kayanim and minchas nesachim, minchas kay Mashiach, where over there they're entirely burnt. There's no pigel there. Bahadam, and there's also no pigel by the blood. Ela pshita, when we said that there's something here is going to become pigel, when he had thoughts of pouring out the remnants, what part of the animal would become pigel? It must be, obviously, lefluge basar. The flesh is going to become pigel. Hashta, now, ma hasam bleichashav basar gufei, Rabbi Yosi mefagel. Rabbi Yosi is not thinking, Rabbi Yosi is not doing the service here. Rabbi Yosi is not discussing in his example. The person is, in Rabbi Yosi's case, the person is not thinking about the flesh, he's thinking about the blood, doing it in the wrong time. What part of the animal becomes pigel? The flesh. Hacha, the chashav bei bezevach gufei, like kolshkin, the pigel b'yerech yamin, pigel b'yerech small. Rabbi Yosi said, according to Rav Huna, that if he thinks about eating the right leg the following day, so the left leg doesn't become pigel. So how does thinking about sprinkling the blood make the flesh pigel? He wasn't, you see, over there he's thinking about the flesh, and it still doesn't combine. Here he's thinking about the blood. How does the blood make the... Rabbi Yosi really divides up the animal into different every section of the animal is different. So when he's sprinkling, this was a long proof from Rav Ashi that this cannot be Rabbi Yossi's opinion, the way Rav Huna is quoting it. V'oid, is the question clear?
Well,
The question is that according to Rav Huna, if
Rabbi Yossi or Rabbi Huna?
Rav Huna explains Rabbi Yossi that according to his explanation of Rabbi Yossi, why did we say
he says one thing doesn't affect the other.
That one loaf of bread doesn't make the other loaf piggle, and one stack of lechem apana doesn't make the other stack? He quoted this thing that Rabbi Yossi holds that even one thigh doesn't make the other thigh piggle. So now we have a brisa that says that if you think about the blood, you're going to make all the flesh piggle. Now, how do you make the flesh piggle if you couldn't make one leg piggle from the other one? How do you make the whole animal piggle with thinking about the blood?
By the bread, he said one thing doesn't make the other.
Right. Rav Huna adds in the thighs.
Right. Then by the thighs, one effect. Oh, what's the second one? There's three of them, right?
Well, there's the loaves of Shavuos, there's the loaves of Shabbos, the 12 loaves of Shabbos. They don't make each other. And Rav Huna threw in also the two legs don't.
Well, there's hooves. There's lechem and there's legs.
Okay, we would have thought that maybe the lechem doesn't combine; it's two separate loaves. But the legs is one organism, and nevertheless they don't combine. For sure, the loaves don't combine.
Right.
And now we're saying over here that you're showing us that the thoughts about sprinkling the blood not only make the blood. Well, the blood doesn't become piggle anyway, but the piggle of the thoughts about the blood make the flesh piggle. Which flesh? The right leg, the left leg? What? It shouldn't make any of it piggle, because according to Rabbi Yossi, everything's divided up.
If Rabbi Yossi says everything's divided up, then it shouldn't affect anything.
Shouldn't affect anything. It should only affect the blood, and the blood doesn't become piggle because the blood is the matter.
Wow.
Piggle is only on the other things. Okay, that's Rav Ashi's question. V'oid, another question. Amar Ravina. Actually, it doesn't say that this is Rav Ashi's question. This is a quote from Rav Ashi. The Gemara is quoting it. V'oid Amar Ravina. Ravina says, Tashma ha'kaimitza semin chalechal shirel lahak de kaim tzulamacha ma'id Rabbi Yossi bezu shepikol v'chayav alav kares. This was, I believe, the first Mishnah of our parak. Someone does kmitza on the mincha. His intention is to eat the remnants or to offer the kaimitz the following day. What were his thoughts regarding either the remnants, which that we would understand, or to offer the kaimitz? Now we're getting into trouble. Because what's going to be the piggle here? The kaimitz itself is the mater. It's not going to become piggle. He's thinking about offering the kaimitz in the wrong time. Now, lahaktir kaimtza leflugemai. What part of